back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. I'm a licensed cognitive behavior therapist. That's a CBT therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. Today I'd like to continue with the part 2 of Bethany Funk's statements to the detective. I find them to be extremely interesting, plus they line up perfectly with the timelines that I had in my theory, just my hypothesis. I've always said from the beginning that it's just two separate incidents. And I always said that Ethan and Zana were unalived first. Murder Mayhem, shout out to him, would know. When our two channels used to talk about that. I'm talking about the very beginning of the case, because the timeline never made sense to me at all. I always believed that there had to be one target on the second floor and one on the third floor. Let me start by saying that this is all my thoughts, my speculations, and my opinions only. This picture is very interesting for me. This is Bethany Funk with Murphy. It seems like DM did not have a fond relationship with Murphy, who was the only pet at 1122 King Road. But Bethany Funk seemed to have a good relationship with Murphy. Now, what is interesting is Bethany Funk told the detective in her statements that between 2:30 to 3 a.m., Murphy, herself, and Maddie went outside with Murphy. They took him out for party or something. She said, Bethany Funk said that I was there for only 10 seconds. And she came in. So she left Murphy with Maddie outside 1122 King Road. She didn't say exactly where, and the detective didn't bother to ask. Found that strange. Supposed to get each and every detail. She said she went back to her room. She doesn't speak about the toothache, and she said she was watching an episode for half an hour or something. And she said Maddie came, knocked at her door, and asked BF if she saw Murphy. Or basically if Murphy was with her inside the room. Did someone hide Murphy? Did someone lure Murphy? Maybe with a treat or something. Very possible. Because in Linda Lane footage, we hear a lot of barking. So we have Bethany Funk, who's close to Murphy, and we have Jack D. One thing I've noticed since I've been in this case from the very beginning is that it seems to me that Bethany Funk has a very genuine relationship with Maddie. She really considered her to be a big a big sister, and she was a sister from the fraternity, and it looked like there was drama going on in Kaylee's fraternity. What is strange is that after Bethany told Maddie, allegedly, that she did not see Murphy, Bethany doesn't speak about Murphy or Maddie again. And the officer doesn't ask her if she knew if they made it home. We may have asked her and she didn't reply. I found that to be very odd. Where did Maddie go? And where was Murphy? Furthermore, where was the dog, its owner, Kaylee? Could Jack D have Lord Murphy? Or could have, allegedly, anything is possible? Or could have Bethany Funk herself taken Murphy outside? Because we have 2 surviving roommates who are allegedly witnesses, and none of them called 911 for 8 to 9 hours. So why would I buy their alibis and their narratives? What do they say? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I don't need to be fooled constantly by the surviving roommates, Ethan and Anna's friends, Hunter, Johnson, and Emily, and Josie, and her boyfriend, and Eva, and all the people at the 911 call. Because it's simple. Everyone knew about these horrific crimes before 10 a.m. These people were discussing whether if this was an OD or if it was a pow pow, if a GN was used. They had the audacity, instead of calling 911, they were discussing about the motives, targets, or the way the victims were unalived. Isn't that strange? Now, once again, I have to explain this because it's extremely important. Bethany Funk lives on the left-hand side of the house. That will be right under the living room. Her room number was 1A, A for Alpha. 1B was the room with the orange curtains on the other side, at the first floor too. So 1B is the vacant room right below Zana and Ethan's room, or Zana's room. Bethany Funk is right under the living room. To explain this better, this is under fair use purpose. This is from What's the Obsession. She was in this case from the beginning. So she'll explain to you what I was exactly trying to say. The Bethany Funk's bedroom is right under the living room. Zana's bedroom is right above 1B. That's the vacant room that Ashlyn Couch used to live in. So in the beginning, it was said that it leaked out from the grand jury that allegedly Bethany Funk saw a man with a black ski mask or balaclava walking outside her window. That's why BK, I guess, believes that she has escapatory evidence. I don't know if that was true. Or maybe it was because he was buying rugs from her. He was under addiction, and her Venmos proved that she was selling. So let's go with this theory for a second. But remember where Bethany Funk lives. So I played this under fair use purpose. So you see, the third floor is where Maddie and Kaylee live. Right under Maddie, we have DM on the second floor, but our window is facing more towards the left-hand side, more in the corner towards Queen Road. And the window that you see on the second floor is the living room window. Right underneath the living room on the first floor is Bethany Funk's room, her bedroom. And you can see it's nice and neat with the white curtains. The one on the first floor to the right-hand side would have been the vacant room that DM and BF said they don't have the keys to. Gunderson asked them if they had access to the room, and they said no, and they did not know who had access to it. Why didn't they just say contact a landlord? Why didn't law enforcement get a warrant to break down the door? The suspect could have still been in. Nothing makes sense. So now you see the outlay of the house. So we have BF under the living room. That's the reason she didn't hear the thud. The neighbors heard it.
Pause affidavit. This is what Dylan Mortensen saw the third time she peeked out her door.
So this is from What's the Obsession. She made this a year ago. And this is just to remind you of what leaked out from the grand jury at that time, allegedly, and to give you all validation that DM lives on the second floor, obviously, but BF lives right under the living room and not on the opposite side. If she lived in 1B, I would have been surprised because that would have changed the whole narrative. Then I would have wondered why she didn't hear the thud from Zana's room. So I played this.
Says Dylan Mortensen stated she opened her door for a third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. Dylan Mortensen described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past Dylan Mortensen as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. Dylan Mortensen locked herself in her room After seeing the male, Dylan Mortensen stated that she did not recognize the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. According to the students from the University of Idaho, what Bethany Funk saw in those early morning hours corroborates the fact that Dylan Mortensen called all of her roommates when she was alarmed by what she heard and ultimately what she saw. Apparently, Bethany Funk was awoken as well by the noise that she heard, or maybe she was awoken by Dylan Mortensen contacting her on her phone. We are really not sure. But what is known is that Bethany Funk was awoken as well by the noise that she heard, or maybe she was awoken by Dylan Mortensen contacting her on her phone. We are really not sure. But what is known is that Bethany Funk looked out of her bedroom window from the first floor, and what she saw was a man walking away from the 1122 King Road house, dressed in the same manner as the man clad in black that Dylan Mortensen saw outside her bedroom door. Now, this is as far as Bethany could tell from her perspective. So the story goes like this. Bethany, looking out the window of her bedroom, which is this bedroom right here. If you've seen the 360 tour of 1122 King Road, the bedroom is labeled 1A. So if you're looking out Bethany Funk's window from her bedroom, now note that her bedroom is right beneath the living room. If she were in the other first floor bedroom, bedroom 1B, that would be right below Xander Kernodle's bedroom. But the bedroom Bethany Funk was in was 1A, so she's looking out the window from the first floor that is beneath the living room of 1122 King Road.
So Bethany Funk allegedly saw a man in black out of a window. I wonder why that was suppressed. Why didn't they release that information? Just saying, doesn't make sense. I just have this feeling that it's Bethany Funk that knows Coburg. In my opinion.
After Maddie and Kaylee got home?
We all hung out in Kaylee's room for a little. And we talked, and then Maddie and I took Murphy out to pee the dog. And then I said I was going to go to bed because I was tired. And she said she was going to go to bed too. And then I went to my room. I was wanting to sleep. And she came and knocked and asked if I had Murphy. And I said no. And then I went to bed.
Okay. So what time did you think you took Murphy out?
Probably like 3 to 30.
2:30 to 3?
Yeah.
Okay. And where's you normally take Murphy to go to the bathroom?
Just the back door in the kitchen.
So which one is 1122? So if I'm coming up King Road off of Taylor.
It's the big white house up there.
All the way to the very top on the right?
Oh, well, it's technically on Queen, but the address is King.
Okay. So is it up to 500 Clean Road? Those big apartments? It's kind of back just a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you normally go out the back deck then?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I know how Cheshire then. Okay, so you go there. You and Maddie take the dog out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, how long do you think that took?
I was out there for maybe like 10 seconds.
Okay. Okay. So then you both come back in. So you and Maddie both
I
come
came
back
in
in.
before she did.
Okay. Did Maddie still have the dog then?
Yes, I think so.
So you went out for a little bit, came back in. Do you know what time Maddie came back in?
Mm-hmm.
And you went straight to bed when you came back in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long after you went to bed do you think Maddie came back?
Actually, came in, grabbed some chips, went to my room, and watched the show for a little, and then I went to bed.
What were you watching?
It's called Baby Daddy.
Okay. How long do you think you watched it?
Maybe like 30 minutes.
So one episode maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like a half.
Okay. And did Maddie come in during that show or after?
She just knocked on my door, I think, during and asked if I had Murphy, and I said no.
Okay. Then what happened after that?
I just went to bed, and then I woke up and I was like half asleep, and I just thought I saw like a firework or something, like it just sparkled like under my door, and I thought I heard like something kind of fall, and then Murphy barked, but I thought people were just making like food, like, and Ethan was here or something and knocked something over because he's usually loud in the kitchen upstairs.
Now the investigator stops Bethany there because she said something that caught his attention.
So what do you mean by you heard a firework?
It sounded like a little firework, and then there was like a spark that went by my, like, I'm on the bottom floor,
Okay.
and so it kind of looked like it came down there, but I don't know.
So Bethany Funk says that she heard somebody in the kitchen making a loud noise, and she thought it was Ethan. Is she sure she heard it from the kitchen and not from the living room? Because the state the living room looked like it looked like there was a massive fight that broke out in the living room. But she could hear noises, a loud noise in the kitchen. And then she saw the firework, or the firelight, whatever it was. So I think this is important. She heard a loud noise in the kitchen.
And then I woke up and I was like half asleep, and I just thought I saw like a firework or something, like it just sparkled like under my door, and I thought I heard like something kind of fall, and then Murphy barked, but I thought people were just making like food, like, and Ethan was here or something and knocked something over because he's usually loud in the kitchen upstairs.
Now the
This dog,
Kaylee's dog?
Kaylee, and her ex-boyfriend's dog.
Okay. So you heard Murphy bark right after you heard what you thought was a firecracker?
Yeah, something like that. Like, you know, I don't know, dogs bark at random things. And sometimes when he's happy, he'll bark.
Okay. It didn't sound like an angry growl or anything like that, just a bark?
I don't really know. I was like half asleep.
Okay.
It just sounded like bark.
So, hear the firework, kind of see a spark underneath the door. Murphy barks. What'd you hear after that?
Pretty much nothing.
Nothing
That's
after
it.
that? Okay. And you thought maybe someone was just in the kitchen at that point?
Yeah, just like someone accidentally fell into the table or something.
Okay.
And she was like, with Murphy,
Do you know about what time that might have been? Do you have any
like
idea?
4 or something. I tried to call all of them at like 4:20ish around that time, and no one was answering. I thought they just went to bed or something.
We now know
She's going to say, we now know it was Anna. No, we don't know if it was Anna. We have to follow what the witnesses said. It's just like DM said clearly, she heard Kaylee running up the steps saying there's somebody here. And she was with her dog Murphy. But everyone's guessing that it was Anna. We can't just choose and pick what is convenient. When it's a speculation, we have to say we're speculating. So Bethany Funk heard somebody in the kitchen crashing into a table, and she thought it was an accident. Why would somebody accidentally crash into a table? A chair, I may understand, but not a table, unless they were really intoxicated. But okay, we got this at least clear that she heard somebody up in the kitchen, and she lives under the living room. She went for 10 seconds out with Maddie and Murphy between 2:30 to 3. And then Maddie came knocking at her door somewhere before 3 a.m. asking her if she saw Murphy. So that means Murphy was away. And Maddie was searching for him. I believe Maddie was Lord, and I'll tell you why. I'll end it with this part. This could have either been Zana, Maddie, or Kaylee, in my opinion. And I really believe it was Maddie. I've always believed it was Maddie. Many people think it was Kaylee, but most of us think it's either Kaylee or Maddie. They were yelling, "Stop it, stop." And when you look at the timeline, that was at 2:55 from the Bandfield Bodycam. 2:55. The last phone call Maddie made to Jack D was at 2:52. And at 2:55 we hear a female yelling, "Stop it, stop." And what did Bethany Funk say? Bethany Funk said that she was in a room watching an episode, a show. She was out for 10 seconds with Maddie and Murphy, and she came back in. She started watching a show. She said she went up and got chips. She was watching a show, and then Maddie comes to her, knocks at her door, and asks Bethany Funk if Bethany has Murphy or if she's seen Murphy. So that would be somewhere before 3 a.m. I believe Maddie went out for Murphy and she got lured towards Taylor Avenue, Bandfield. Maybe they were luring her. They must have taken Murphy first, given him some treats. It's somebody who definitely knows Murphy well. Adam, Jagdy, allegedly Hunter, Johnson. Could be anyone. I believe Maddie was lured. Maybe towards the alleyway from 1122 King Road to where the figures were running towards Sigma Chi fraternity. Let me know what y'all think. So this is the theory I really believe, and I've always said that something happened to Kaylee and Maddie when they took Murphy out to party, because that is what Alvira told us in the beginning, that she saw from the neighbor's body cam. And I was always wondering if something happened to them when they took their dog out. And I really, really wonder, where was Kaylee when Maddie was searching for Murphy? And where was Kaylee when Bethany Funk and Maddie were out with Murphy? Kaylee could see that Maddie was very intoxicated that night. Why would she let Maddie go by herself with Murphy? She would have been concerned for both of them. I believe something already could have happened to Kaylee. I believe these victims were gagged. I believe they were tortured, in my opinion. This is just my thoughts and opinion. Let me know what you'll think, and I'll end with the Bandfield Bodycam so that you can hear from the police's body cam when a female is yelling, "Stop it, stop."
Okay, now, this is the other video, or excuse me, the other camera on the other officers who's up by, now facing towards the house again at also 025516. And this is what I think I hear.
Yeah. Okay. 19. Yep. Okay.
That one is a little clearer. Stop it, stop. I'm going to play it again. Listen.
Okay. 19. Yep. Okay. 021.
Karen, what do you think? Stop it, stop. I'm going to play it again. Listen.
Okay. 19. Yep. Okay.
Stop it, stop was recorded on both the undercover police officers on Bandfield is body cam at 2:55 and 16 seconds. Remember what Bethany Funk said to the detective. Was it Mallory? She said between 2:30 to 3 a.m. they took Murphy out for a walk or party. That would be her and Maddie. She said she was barely out to them for 10 seconds, which doesn't make sense. It would take her time to walk from her room upstairs and out to the sliding door. But it took her 10 seconds. She left Maddie and Murphy outside, and she continued watching her show. And then she said Maddie came to her later on, that we say somewhere before 3 a.m., 2:30 to 3 a.m., and asked her if she saw Murphy. I think this is when she finished her show. So this will be at 3 a.m. or close to 3 a.m. Stop it, stop. Was Maddie dragged maybe into the bushes in Taylor Avenue? Was she taken somewhere else? Were the victims unalived at home, is my question. Let me know what you'll think. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a lovely weekend. May the victims rest in peace.